beautiful day in the city of Lagos, and you're watching Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. I still remain your humble host, William Tuzumba, telling you to follow me on this exciting journey. Today, yet again, we're going to be playing around the financial sector, and my guest today is one person that has done so well within this space. After this time out, I shall be unveiling who my guest today is and some of the wonderful things and information you would gather from interviewing this person. Come along with me. Welcome back to the show, Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com. Before that time out, I did tell you that yet again we shall be playing within the financial space here in Nigeria, and we shall be looking at the brand known as Migo. Interestingly, my guest today on the program is no other person than the VP Growth in person of Adia Sowho. Madam, you're welcome to the program.
Hi.
Thank you for giving us time, even though we know you're a busy person.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Good. Now, usually on this program, I like starting my questions with the viewers getting to know who my guest is, and I like the guest doing me the honors. So please do us the honors, tell us who Adia Sowho is.
Okay, thank you very much, and I appreciate being hosted on this show.
Thank you.
So as you said, my name is Adia Sowho. I'm the VP of Growth at Mego, and who am I? I guess I'm a young Nigerian, if I may call myself that. I started off my career first as an engineer within the telecom space, and then I went to study further and I got a master's in business administration. Then I went into something called management consulting, where I worked for Deloitte Consulting for a couple of years. After that, I came back to Nigeria and worked for now 9 Mobile at the time, Etisalat, Nigeria, and that's what led me here. So my roles have pretty much been across the spectrum within technology and mostly telecommunications.
Great, great. Now, tell us a bit more about the brand Migo. I mean, not too many persons might relatively, come to recognitions of the brand. So enlighten us some more. What does Migo do? And at what point did Migo sneak into the Nigerian market?
So we've been around for a while. We just had a different name. So our company was called Mines. Our product was called Quick Money, and that was causing a little bit of a challenge in recall. We wanted to unify under a name that was simple and globally acceptable because we have those global aspirations. We wanted to be known by a moniker that was easy to pronounce by people that speak English as well as any other available language in the world. So we wanted something very, very simple. So to say again, we've been around for years in Nigeria actually, under the previous guys.
Quick Money, I remember.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Migo. So tell us more. What does Migo do?
So what do we do? We are a cloud-based platform that helps companies layer credit onto their existing product portfolio. So we use that to help augment existing bank and payment card infrastructure. What this then allows the companies that we work with to do is enable their customers access credit either by cash or at the point of making a purchase without using any plastic cards. All you need is your phone or your phone number.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How's the experience been?
Wow. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, we've had our ups and downs. It's not easy running a company. It's not easy pushing out something that's such a novel concept within Nigeria. I mean, credit is something that not a lot of people know or understand, much less unsecured credit. So it's been a few years of very good lessons, but I think ultimately a success. We've got 1 million unique users under our belt, and we've only just gotten started.
Oh, interesting. Tell me, has Migo moved from more urban cities like Lagos to some more remote parts of Nigeria?
So we've served people across the country. We've never really restricted ourselves to cities or outside cities or any particular area. And that's simply because we're accessible by phone and we send our messages to customers by SMS. So once you receive an SMS, it doesn't really matter where you are. You don't have to be in a certain geography to meet the criteria. You just dial the code, *561#. And you can actually see how much is available to you if we are able to make you a credit offer at that point in time.
Interesting. Now, can you share with us some of your earliest challenges? Every business has one. So what are some of those challenges that your brand has faced, especially through the process when it changed a couple of names to being Migo today? What were some of those challenges and how did you surpass them?
Well, I'll tell you one that still persists even today. So in order to do what we do, so our platform runs on artificial intelligence and machine learning. So before I'll try to break down what that actually means. So basically we take large amounts of data, right, which is indicative of how people in this locale behave. And we use that data to make a prediction on future behavior. Now, to be more specific to this particular case, we use that data to predict whether people are likely to pay a loan back or not. Oh. And on the back of that, we then issue the loan. So we issue the loans to those that, the data footprint that we have at the time indicates are likely to pay back or not. Now, our data footprint grows and changes with the partnerships that we have. So the reason we work with companies is that these companies already have a customer database of customers they've been serving, in some cases for as much as 100 years. So the question now becomes, okay, how can we work with you to use the data that you already have to try to help you issue credit to the customers that you have as well? Now that conversation is a bit difficult for a bunch of reasons. Our data culture in Nigeria is still increasing in sophistication. And I think that there's also the rhetoric about data around the world is changing. Now there is a bit of a cautious narrative, right, which is sort of harping on, privacy and not sharing data and so on and so forth. Now, while I do, and at Migo, we do believe in privacy and security. We've never had a breach in our history. And that's because we take best practice security measures. I think it's important to reset the context for these conversations, right? So I think that in a developed country where you can comfortably live every aspect of your life offline, right, without any encumbrance, because this is what they were doing, for decades before the digital economy or the internet emerged. They had a full set of financial services which are accessible to every single human being in the country without exception. In our case, in emerging markets like ours, we lack some of that infrastructure. Digital has created an opportunity to skip past building the physical infrastructure, right, and actually build that infrastructure digitally. However, if we take a similar position to developed markets, we will never get that infrastructure. Now, in the case of Migo, what we're building is a platform upon which any company can come and provide credit to their customers. So we're not necessarily keeping the capability to ourselves. We are trying to enable any company in Nigeria to do the same thing. So that is akin to creating infrastructure to deliver credit to users. Now, if we take a super conservative approach to sharing and distributing and using data, we will not be able to create that infrastructure. We will not be able to enable the middle class to build wealth. Because think about it, abroad you can borrow money to pay for your car, you get loans to pay for your car, you get loans to pay for your mortgage, you get loans to pay for school fees. These are all things that give one comfort in life. These are all things that provide one advancement in life to increase your earning power. If we decide that we are not going to make those types of tools available to Nigerians, then they will remain in their financial strata. Their children will remain in that same financial strata, and there's it hampers our ability to progress.
Great.
So I think that's one of the tougher arguments we've had.
Interesting. Now, how does it make you feel seeing the Nigerian eco space gradually embracing the kind of service that Migo is rendering?
It makes me excited for our future, actually. I think that the ecosystem here is very tenacious. I think we've got a lot of growing up to do, but I think that we're making pretty good progress. So, yeah, I'm very excited.
And how does it also make you feel, without sounding a bit sexist? How does it make you feel being a female playing in the tech space?
Well, may I speak Pidgin?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not be today. I mean, I've been in technical fields all my life. I've been in, being an engineer. I mean, I was in a class with like 200 boys and there were only 3 girls. So it's something that I see all the time. Of course, I mean, to any woman that's thinking of being in the same position, approach without fear. I mean, I think that if you surround yourself with your circle of supporters, and they don't have to exclusively be women. I've had, many champions in my career of both sexes, more men actually, because again, as a function of being in male-dominated fields, a lot of my mentors have actually, been men. So, yeah, approach without fear. I mean, I did it. I don't think I did anything too dramatic.
No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets at all.
That's good. That's good. Well, I still have some more questions for you, but at this point we'll go on a short time, on a short break.
Okay.
When we get back, I'll throw my questions.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're still watching Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com, and I still have with me Adia Sowho, the VP Growth of Migo. When we come back from the short break, I shall be asking some more questions before we call today's episode of the program a wrap. Please don't go nowhere.
I can tell you directly that Connect Nigeria have helped us to meet over 900 persons at the moment. Now,
we are able to meet a larger group of people right now, diverse people from different spheres, advising us and also meeting up with them to see how we can connect with them, bring them on board where they can also earn something from themselves. So it has been wonderful. Really.
Connect Nigeria, I feel you guys. Thanks for this opportunity. Last year we were selected as the top 100 SMEs, emerging SMEs, and that was what gave us the opportunity of being here.
Thank you, Connect Nigeria, for putting this together. It's been rewarding. It's been wonderful. I pray that every other SME out there that are not here this year will make it come 2020. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show Meet the Boss, brought to you by ConnectNigeria.com, and I still have my guest today, the VP Growth of Migo, Adia Sowho. Madam, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I like that your name, especially the surname Sowho. It has this undertone of an Asian vibe. Well, it's a lovely name, don't get me wrong.
Thank you.
But by the way, what if you don't mind me asking, what part of Nigeria are you from?
I'm from Delta State. I'm Urobo, actually.
Urobo.
Yeah.
What's that popular greeting? Urobo.
Wado.
Wado. Yes, I got it right. So you're welcome back to the second half of today's program. Now, tell me, it's as I said before the break in one of my questions, it's really very interesting when you see the female gender within the tech space. I mean, time and again, many of the CEOs and other top execs I've had on my program, there's this clamor that we should have more female within this space. I mean, to even things up. Where would you say you draw your own personal inspirations and motivations to keep doing what you're doing?
Oh wow, that's a big question. I do try to draw inspiration from everyone I meet. I think that's what keeps me keen on meeting new people. It's because I feel like everyone has something special about them. And, if I can understand what that might be, I think that's something that sort of stays with me and gives me inspiration.
Great. Now, recently, I mean, it's in the public sphere. Mego got some investment, and you guys are thinking of scaling more globally.
Yes.
Can you shed some more light about that and what exactly that's about?
Yes. So we recently completed what in the tech world is known as our Series B funding. So I think in the tech world you have stages of funding that go by different names.
True.
The names represent the evolution of the company and sometimes indicate its size. Should I keep explaining?
A little more.
Yeah, so I think at the earlier stages of the company, at the very beginning, you may do what they call a family and friends round, where you tell people that are closest to you you're working on something
inner circle.
to just sort of inner circle, thank you, to just sort of support you financially. Then maybe when you have some clarity on the idea, maybe you have the makings of a minimum viable product or an MVP, then you do something called your seed funding. When you have a little bit of a track record, you've been able to acquire some users, you've shown some steady growth, then maybe you get to Series A, and then, after that Series B, C, D, E, and so on and so forth.
I get the message.
So we just completed our Series B after being in business, 4 or 5 years, something like that. And yes, you're correct. We are expanding globally. I mean, the company is headquartered in Silicon Valley, with Nigeria being our first base of operations, and in 2020 Brazil will be our next base of operations. So we're very excited for the opportunity. We chose Brazil because it has a similar number of people that are locked out of the credit system for similar reasons, right? So I think Nigeria has maybe 90 million adults that are unable to access credit. Brazil has about 100 million adults unable to access credit, and it's for similar reasons. Just the absence of the infrastructure, the fact that the infrastructure has not penetrated all the way into the non-urbanized areas of the country, and so on and so forth.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. That's a good one. Now let's talk a bit more about your in-house team.
Yeah.
I usually like to ask these questions because I mean, it's one thing to be talking to the brain or the bosses of different brands and businesses. We always want to get them to talk about their team. What role does having a formidable team play in the growth of any brand, any
everything
business?
Oh my God, everything. That's a great question. It's everything, and I think that I have learned over the years that you are as good as the strength of you're as good as your team, and if you have a strong team, you're going to deliver strong work. So I have tried my very best to have and hire and empower a team that is strong, that is cohesive, that is they don't need me to function, right? I try to empower them to do their jobs. I mean, I tend to tell my team that, look, I'm ready to impart any knowledge and any experience that I have acquired over the years to you, because I think a measure of my success as your leader at the time is if you can take my job in the future. Then it would evidence that I have enabled you to at least do, at a minimum, the best I have been able to do for myself. But my actual dream is that you can actually do. So
that's good. That's good. That's good. And still a follow-up to that. Can you share some of your, though you mentioned a bit of it, was it during our earlier stage in the second phase or the first one? Some of your earliest mentors, and do you create time to mentor others?
I spend quite a bit of time mentoring others as much as I can. But I'm quite casual with my mentorship. I try to discourage mentees from showing up with like a proposal letter. Can you mentor me? Make appointment, blah blah blah. I'm like, can you just send me a WhatsApp message?
I get that.
Just ask me a question. Like, if you're trying to do something and perhaps you're unsure how to approach it, you need some encouragement, you need some clarity, just say hi on WhatsApp. Like, let's not make this thing too ceremonial, too serious. And it's also easier for me to manage, you know. Another thing is that, mentees might show up and they want to be so serious. I'm like, can you chill out? Like, can you make this fun for me as well? Like, if you're a funny person or something interesting happened to you that day, please feel free to tell me, because you don't know what kind of stressful day I'm having. True. I might want to hear, what's going on, something relaxing, what's going on with you. So just, let everybody just generally chill out. So yeah, I've had quite a few mentors, and I believe in the mentors that have shown me good models as well as bad models of leadership. Right?
Everything is a learning phase.
Everything is important, right? Everything is a learning. I remember once when I was an analyst, a junior engineer, I was at some company rally or something, and I just walked up to this engineer and I said, please sir, you are a VP, can I gave him my proposal letter. The guy first told me to chill out. And then for our first meeting, I was trying to organize. He said, "Don't worry, I'll just come to your office." And I'm like, I couldn't understand. I'm like, how can this big man in the organization want to come and see me? And at the appointed time, the man showed up at my cube. Do you understand? I even brought drinks. I was like, okay, how far? Who are you? I want to get to know you. And the attention he showed me, that day in a very, so he was the one that now said, okay, I know a couple of women. You may not have met them yet, but I think they'll be great mentors for you, so that you have a balance of male and female mentors. I've also had leaders whose demeanor has been so calm. You know what I mean? That they always leave you with a feeling of peace, a feeling of confidence and capability. So I also try to, remember those guys as well.
Yeah.
I also remember the mentors that have been able to give me feedback that has allowed me to grow. That's also a very, I don't think that's easy to find. Someone that can actually give you actionable feedback about how you're approaching problems or how you see yourself and so on and so forth. So personally, I kind of grab mentors everywhere I can.
Everywhere you can. Everywhere
I can see them, and I pick them up everywhere I see them too. I remember once at an event here, hi Shalom, there was this girl, she was ushering at the time, right, at this fintech event.
Okay.
But she was sensitive enough. She saw me trying to negotiate the stairs in some heels, and she just walked up to me very quickly and helped me. And I thought, oh, that's very thoughtful of you. And she was like, oh, I'd like to stay in touch. And because she was nice to me, I said, okay. Turns out she's this badass law student at Unilag, debate queen, so just well achieved. And we stay in touch. So once in a while,
that's cool.
She'll just reach out and say hi and so on and so forth. So I have and meet mentors, in all kinds of sectors. I have a few fashion designers, photographers. I mean, some people think, oh, you're an engineer or you're in telecom or fintech. What are you doing with those kinds of people? But there's always a conversation. There's always a growth path. You don't have to restrict your mentorship to your exact industry. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Now let's come back a bit to the Nigerian eco space. How would you rate the financial sector, especially considering the SMEs that are trying hard to play within the space here in Nigeria?
Wow, okay, so I think that context is very important. Yeah. And I think that within the context and environment and the tools that we have to operate with, I think we're doing well. Now, could we do better? Of course, right? But I think that people are trying to surmount the constraints that they are surrounded by in order to continue to achieve. I think that's going to take a lot more education, and it doesn't have to be formal education. It can be informal education. It can be, just picked up along the way, just from articles, people that publish and talk about their businesses. You draw, examples from them and so on and so forth. So it makes a formal, and informal, and sometimes just good old experience. So I think over time, as this knowledge spreads, there will be significant improvements.
Can you say it, to us, to what you feel the government can do, both within the state and federal level, to help create a more enabling environment for businesses to thrive?
Well, I think enablement takes, so many forms, but it starts with listening. I think that to the extent that there are forums that can be created where the people within the space can air their views and air the challenges that they have, and then the government is able to absorb that information and then turn them into, and then action them. I think that would be great. I think if we even start with that, I can't speak for the ecosystem, but allow the ecosystem to speak for itself.
Great. Now, Adia, tell me this. I don't want to believe it's all work for you. How do you relax? Do you make out time to relax? How do you relax?
That's a very difficult question. So in this year, with what we've achieved with the business, I have barely had time. I've barely had time, for myself. I do try to hang out with my friends.
Okay.
I think that my friends and my family have a sort of grounding and comforting effect on me. So even when I don't see them, they still look for me. They don't abandon me even when I am less available. I do also try to work out a little bit. So sometimes I play tennis, or I'm on a bike, or I swim. I do yoga. I'm also a yoga teacher, so
Oh, okay.
so yeah. So there's a variety of things just to try to stay physically
That's
active.
good. That's good. That's
Zone
good.
out in front of the TV. A bunch of things.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're already on the home stretch, but I still have a few more questions and we'll call today a wrap. 5 years from now, where would you want to see Migo?
Okay.
Yes.
So back to the story of what I was saying about making credit infrastructure available in the country, and what it does for a society. Where credit is available, the society flourishes, or the society is prosperous. So our vision at Mego is to make that prosperity at least available to all.
Okay.
Available so that if you want to reach for it, if you are capable of reaching for it, you can reach out and touch it. So I think that in 5 years, I hope that we are further along with that vision,
Okay.
and we are bringing that to life for our customers.
Interesting. And what would you say from your own perspective? What dreams and aspirations do you have for Nigeria as a country?
I think that I saw a statistic the other day that the average age on the continent is 18 versus the average age of the rest of the world being 31 or 32.
Okay.
That is a lot of manpower,
Young workforce.
brain power, buying power that I think we can harness into a strong position of leadership in many facets of society. I don't want us to miss that boat. We are 18 now, but in 6 years we'll be 25.
Of course.
So what's going to happen in this country in the next 6 years? What's going to happen in the next 10 years? How are we feeding, the next generation? So I'm very hopeful, but at the same time, I don't believe in just being hopeful. I think the work I'm doing, right now with Migo specifically speaks to enabling people to live a better life than the one they lived the day before.
Now, on the final note, words of encouragement and advice. We mentioned earlier that it's very inspiring that we're having another female yet again in the tech space. So what are your words of encouragement to other young aspiring females who want to be like you and some other startup individuals that are watching today's?
Sure. Look, first I will always encourage, my women, to continue to go for what it is they are good at. I think we need to find a balance though. I think that oftentimes we need to dream in reality. Let me put it like that.
That's
right?
a good
so
one.
let us dream in reality and not be too lofty with what we're trying to achieve, so that we can actually create products or create companies that can actually make money because they are useful to people. I think if you have a product that people want, people will actually gladly pay you for it, but just make sure you identify those needs. But then in saying this, I'm also speaking to all of us because we all need encouragement, men and women alike. I want to speak to people that may not have had the opportunity to go abroad, may not necessarily feel like they come from the right tribe, may not necessarily feel like they have been born in the right strata of society. Look, something that most of us in this world don't know. Try to find a way to apply that to a problem that people are willing to pay for. And I wish you all the best.
Fantastic. Adia, it's been lovely.
Thank you, William.
I've really learned a lot from some of the things you said today, and we'll continue to follow the success growth of Migo. And from time to time, who knows, we might be reporting on it.
Happy to chat with you again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, viewers, you've heard it all from the VP Growth. Very sensitive position, I must say. Person of Adia Sowho. She shared some very wonderful insight as to the brand from the early stages, the names they had before to where they are today, and the various moves they have in place to scale up globally. Remember, you can watch today's episode also on our website, www.connectnigeria.com/CNTV, and on our YouTube page. And also you can follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, at connectnigeria.com. And also my humble self, William Tuzumba, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember, if you want to see someone interesting on this program, do well to send me a message and I'll do my very best to bring that person your way. Until we come your way, same time, same station, as I always say on this program, continue to keep a positive mind, and the sky might just be the beginning of your success. Bye, guys.